On the 21st of April 2019, Easter Sunday, 3 churches in Sri Lanka and 3 luxury hotels in the commercial capital, Colombo, were targeted in a series of coordinated Islamist terrorist suicide bombings. Later that day, there were smaller explosions at a housing complex in Demategoda and a guest house in Dahiwala. A total of 267 people were killed, including at least 45 foreign nationals, 3 police officers, and 8 bombers, and at least 500 were injured. The church bombings were carried out during Easter services in Negombo, Batticaloa and Colombo. The hotels that were bombed were the Shangri-La, Cinnamon Grand, Kingsbury and Tropical Inn. According to the State Intelligence Service, a second wave of attacks was planned, but was stopped as a result of government raids. According to Sri Lanka government officials, all 8 of the suicide bombers in the attacks were Sri Lanka citizens associated with National Tawheed Jamaat, a local militant Islamist group with suspected foreign ties, previously known for attacks against Buddhists and Sufis. State Minister of Defence Ruvan Vijayawardene said in Parliament on the 23rd of April that the government believed the attack was in retaliation for the Christchurch mosque shootings on the 15th of March 2019. The direct linkage between the 2 attacks was questioned by New Zealand's government and by some experts. The NTJ had been stockpiling explosives at least since January 2019. On the 23rd of April 2019, a Mark news agency, a propaganda outlet for the Islamic State of Iraq and the Levant, stated that the perpetrators of the attack targeting the citizens of coalition countries and Christians in Sri Lanka were Islamic State fighters. Sri Lanka was not part of the anti-ISIL coalition, and the overwhelming majority of those killed were Sri Lanka citizens. A man believed to be long-silent ISIL leader Abu Bakr al-Baghdadi praised the attackers during an 18-minute video on a range of topics. The Criminal Investigation Department, however, has stated that there is no evidence of ISIL's direct involvement. Historically, terrorism in Sri Lanka mostly involved coordinated attacks by the Liberation Tigers of Tamil Eelam against the government and army during the Sri Lanka Civil War, which began in 1983. The LTTE was defeated in 2009 in its effort to violently seize control of the northern and eastern coasts of the island from the Sinhalese ethnic majority to create an independent Tamil state. The Marxist-Leninist party Janata Vimukthi Peramuna also held uprisings in 1971 and 1987-89. The main religions in Sri Lanka are Buddhism and Christianity, with 82% of the Christians being Roman Catholics. The remaining Christians are evenly split between the Anglican Church of Ceylon and other Protestant denominations. During the 2010s, a low but persisting number of attacks and threats were made against Christian congregations and individuals, as well as other religious minorities, by local monks, although they may or may not be actual members of the Buddhist clergy. Anglican Bishop of Colombo Dhiloraj Kanagasabe called for constitutional rights on religion to be protected. In 2018, the National Christian Evangelical Alliance of Sri Lanka reported a large increase in the number of attacks against Christians in the country that year. This coincided with a Supreme Court ruling against a Catholic organization in August, which deemed that proselytism was not protected by the Constitution. Easter Sunday is Christianity's holiest day and church attendance in Sri Lanka is very high on this day. This was the first time since 2009, the end of the Sri Lanka Civil War, that the country had experienced a major terrorist attack. The Sri Lanka government was aware of some foreigners arriving in Sri Lanka to spread what Justice Minister Vijayadasa Rajapakse called Islamic extremism. In November 2016 he told Parliament that 32 Sri Lanka Muslims from well-educated and elite families joined the ISIL. On the 25th of April 2019, Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe revealed that the government had known of the Sri Lanka nationals who had joined Islamic State and returned to the country, but they couldn't be arrested because joining a foreign terrorist organization is not against the law. In the aftermath of the bombings, investigations revealed that school textbooks for Islam published by the government also encouraged radicalization of Muslims. The school books since the 1980s called for the death sentence for those who leave Islam. Vice President of the Muslim Council of Sri Lanka Hilmi Ahmad had said about 3 years ago he warned military intelligence officials about the National Tawheed Jamaat, saying, targeting the non-Muslim community is something they encourage. They say you have to kill them in the name of religion. Indian intelligence agencies provided specific information to Sri Lanka authorities about the method and target locations for the potential terrorist attacks to Sri Lanka authorities as early